1, 2. Certainly loud enough for.
Just press to turn on?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it turns green.
Okay.
And then just present, project yourself.
Testing. I don't know, this sounds, when we were rehearsing, it sounded good. Is this working?
Okay, so,
Sing,
Hine Matov, or
yeah,
what
sing something. You're among friends.
Should I grab my stuff? Just wants to make sure it's working?
Yeah. And actually, you and I will sing together.
Okay.
Sing. Why don't you start?
Hine matovu manayim.
This is a sound. This is a sound check. I'm sorry. Oh no, actually, it's probably.
No, Dawn's not pointing to her watch yet. Yeah, she's not doing it.
Check. Just when it. Well. But that's my voice.
Check. 1, 2.
Check.
This?
But it won't be picked up by the cast, the podcast. We need to have her have it on.
Should I be on a mic?
Check. So all I have to do is this. Check.
Oh, definitely.
All right, let's just try something that we do harmony with. See. Well, the good news is that it's the
Should I just take one of the clip-ons, or?
No, I think that's good. For some reason, it doesn't feel like it's. It sounds pretty good. Let's do. Okay, let's start. Let's say Shalom.
Oh, say shalom, bim romav, huya say shalom, haleinu, ve'yavol Yisrael, ve'imeru amen.
Too loud? Go turn it down. It's right? All right, you two work it out amongst yourselves.
Which one is too loud?
All right, so
I
now
can sing
second
quieter.
What? The second section. Ready, go.
Oh, say shalom, bim romav, huya say shalom, haleinu, ve'yavol Yisrael, ve'imeru amen.
So,
Was that sound checking?
he says it's giving out awards tonight for those who are attending? Just kidding. That was a joke. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to B'nai Israel.
Actually, when the kids sign in at the end of services, or if you've signed in for services
Tonight, we'll give you double points for services tonight. So,
Okay, that's a good idea. All right, one take first. Okay. So, not only it's a very busy week, but you also braved this horrible weather, which actually is taking a little bit of a break now, so it wasn't quite as horrible. But anyway, welcome everybody, and we're gonna. I am privileged to be joined on the Bima tonight with Rabbi Polikoff, per usual, and Dahlia Greenberg. So she's has a break from school, so she's able to join us. So I want you all to feel very comfortable singing along with us. And we're going to welcome Shabbat with Hine Matov, and it's on page 128 in your prayer books.
and again, welcome. We turn to page 120 for Hadlakat HaNorot, Kindling the Lights of Shabbat. We invite forward Michelle Rosen this evening to lead us in candle lighting, page 120. Thank you. On page 142 is Shalom Aleichem as we continue to welcome in Shabbat. We hope this will be a Sabbath of peace. Shalom Aleichem Malachei Hasharet Malachei l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei amlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Aruni l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Tehem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. The Chatzi Kaddish will be found on page 144. Amen. B'chayechonu v'yomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael bagala bagala uv'izman kariv. Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mivorach Le'olam u'me'omaya Yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yichar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei v'kudashah
Brichu.
Leila min kol birchata v'shirata
Tushbechata v'ne'emata Damiran v'yoma. Page 146, please rise. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Le'olam Vahed. Page 147 across the page, we read together in English the second reading on the page. O God, you are as near as the very air we breathe, yet farther than the farthermost star.
We yearn to reach you.
We seek the light and warmth of your presence. Though we say you are near, we are lonely and alone. Oh, let our desire be strong,
That it will tear the veil that keeps you from our sight. Let your light release our darkness and
reveal the glory of
joy of your presence.
On page 150, we read in English, Everlasting love you have offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Page 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, le'olam va'ed. Please be seated. The Ve'ahavta is found on page 154. Ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'chayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al-levavecha v'shtinantam levanecha v'dibarta b'ham b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'leftecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha lechayu letotafot beineinecha uchtavtam al mizuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai Vitem Kedoshim Leilachechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher Hotzeiti Etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim Lehiot Lachem Le'Elohim Ani Adonai At page 157, we read responsively the second reading on the page. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai, we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again you overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, sing on the shores of the sea.
Page 158. Yam bum bum bim bim bum yabba bum bum bim bum. Yam bum bum bim bim bum yabba bum bum bim bum. Yai dai 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 yabba bum bum bim bum. Yai dai 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 yabba bum bum bim bum. Mihi chamocha bailim Adonai. Mihi chamocha nehedar bakodesh. No rati lo o sefele. No rati lo o sefele. Yam bum bum bim bim bum yabba bum bum bim bum. Yam bum bum bim bim bum yabba bum bum bim bum. Yai dai 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 yabba bum bum bim bum. Yai dai 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 yabba bum bum bim bum. Malachutecha ra'u vanecha bokei ayam lifnei Moshe Miriam ze Eli anu ve'ameru Adonai imloch leolam vayim. Yam bum bum bim bim bum yabba bum bum bim bum. Yam bum bum bim bim bum yabba bum bum bim bum. Yai dai 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 yabba bum bum bim bum. Yai dai 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 yabba bum bum bim bum. Praised are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Page 160, I read towards the bottom of the page. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. On page 162, Yismechu, the second paragraph down on the page. Yismechu v'malechotecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'koreh, Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechotecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'koreh, Oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei, Kadeshei, Shevi, Shabbat. Kulam yisbehu v'tanu mituvecha Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'koreh, Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'koreh, Oneg Shabbat. V'hashvi, Ratzitavo, Ratzitavo, v'kidashto Shabbat. Chemdot Yamimoto Karata Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'koreh, Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'koreh, Oneg Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'koreh, Oneg Shabbat. We rise. Page 164 begins the tefillah. Adonai sifatai tiftach, ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Velohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Velohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Velohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, Ozer Umoshia Umagim. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol Atah Rav L'Hoshia. Okel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayei HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim. Shahomech Noflim V'Rofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekahayim Emunato Lishenei Afar. Micha Mocha Bal Gevurot, Umido Mehela, Melech Mimit Umechahayeh, Umatzmeach Yeshua, V'ne'emanata L'chayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei HaKol. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. Participants in our Tuesday discussion group will recall the articles we've read in the past year about how the Kurdish people, strong allies of Israel and long allies of the United States, and like Israel and America, defenders of feminism, the Kurdish people have been bulwarks against ISIS and Iran. Our thoughts and prayers are with them now as they are surrounded by brutal enemies poised to attack them, and they've become increasingly friendless. The territory the Kurds have held in conjunction with our forces has up until now prevented Iran from establishing a larger pathway to its proxies readying to attack Israel, which further heightens the unease. The day's news also includes the destruction of cross-border tunnels that Iran's proxy Hezbollah dug into Israel. Such headlines serve as another reminder, were any necessary, of the looming threat of renewed violence across the Middle East and across the world. Still, we will not despair. Let us use these moments to reflect on how to bring shalom into our lives and nurture it throughout the world. Our prayer, Shalom Rav, for abundant peace, page 178.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Tasim Leolam. Ki atah melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki atah melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Benecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav.
Silent Prayer, page 180. Service, Seder Kriyat Torah, page 364. Page 364, I ask that we rise and we invite forward Herb Garber and Debbie Garber to open our ark.
La
portion's name, Vayechi, from Chai.
Hebrew word life. Ironically, like the earlier Torah portion, Chaye Sarah, the life of Sarah, which begins with the funeral of the matriarch Sarah, here too Chai focuses on mourning. We read first of the death in Egypt and state burial back in Israel for the patriarch Jacob, Israel, and then in the final sentences of the death and embalmment in Egypt of Jacob's favorite son, Joseph. This Torah portion concludes the book of Genesis, but it ends on a jarring note. For even while Joseph, who had saved Egypt, was still alive there are signs of Jewry's position becoming increasingly precarious. Joseph is escorted to Jacob's funeral by troops that also keep an eye on him. And perhaps that is why, having forgiven his brothers earlier in a poignant final scene, he beseeches them to fulfill a major request to one day carry his bones back to the land of Israel. Our Torah portion will be found on page 316. After we finish the book, we state Chazak, Chazak, Benit Chazek, be strong, and let us strengthen one another, a direct indication of how from milestone to milestone, Torah helps to sustain us. And we invite forward Rebecca and Morgan for our Aliyah to the Torah this evening. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vahed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Amen. V'yalchu gam echa v'yiplu lefanav v'yamru hinenu lecha la'avadim. And his brothers came and bowed before him, and they said, "Behold, we will be your slaves." V'yomer aleichem Yosef al tira'u ki hatachat Elohim ani. But Joseph replied to them, "Have no fear, because am I not under God? V'atem chashaftem alai ra'ah, and while you intended bad for me, Elohim chashva l'tova, God thought it for good. Laman aseh kayom hazeh l'hachayot amrav, in order that it should be good to sustain many people. Ve'ata al tira'u, and now have no fear. Anohi echalkel etchem, I will support you, ve'etapchem, and your children, ve'yinachem otam, and he comforted them, ve'yaber al libam, he spoke kindly to them upon their hearts. Ve'yeshev Yosef b'mitzrayim hu uveit aviv, and Joseph stayed in Egypt. He dwelt there, he and the house of his father. Vayechi Yosef mea v'eser shanim, and when it was that Joseph was 110 years old. Vayar Yosef le'Ephraim b'nei Shleshim v'gam b'nei Machir ben Menashe yuldu al birkei Yosef. And it was that he saw the third generations, even Machir of Ephraim, and even Machir, son of Menashe, was born on, as it were, on the knees of Joseph. Vayomer Yosef el Echav, and Joseph said to his brothers, Anachi mates, I am about to die. Velohin pakod yifkod etchem ve'ela etchem min haaretz, and God will surely take note and will bring you up from this land, hazot el haaretz asher nishba la'avraham u'liyitzchak Yaakov, and to the land that God has sworn to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Vayishba Yosef et bnei Yisrael lemor, and Joseph made them take an oath, swearing, Pakod yifkod Elohim etchem, and when God takes note of you, v'elitem et etzmotai mizeh, please bring up my bones from here. Vayamot Yosef, and Joseph died, ben mea v'esrim shana, at the age of 110. V'yachantu oto, and they embalmed him, v'yisem ba'on b'mitzrayim, and they put him in a coffin in Egypt. Amen. And Rebecca and Morgan, you can back me up on this. Huge space right here. So we have finished a book of the Torah. We finished the book of Genesis this Shabbat. We say, Chazak, Chazak, v'nit chazek. Be strong, and of good courage. Thank you. Eric, we invite you forward to raise our Torah. And Bonnie, we're going to invite you forward to dress our Torah. We rise as the Torah itself will be raised. Vezot HaTorah will be found on the bottom of page 370. Torah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai biyad, and right in the front, sorry, we remain standing as the Torah is returned to the ark. It's Chaim. He will be found the bottom of page 374. Bonnie, if you look on this side right here. Please be seated. Thank you. Thank you. Our prayer for healing is found on page 371. And each Shabbat we pray on behalf of dear ones within and beyond our congregational family. And I invite you to raise your hand, and after I silently acknowledge you, speak the names of persons for whom we should pray this Shabbat.
Evelyn Stone.
We just read this evening the end of the Joseph part of the story in the Torah. This is a long segment which is at the end of the Torah, and I thought it would be nice to review just some of what we have read, sharing with you some of my notes which I've taken over the years on what we just have read, and feel free to stop along the way should there be any questions or comments about what's here. This was the handout, which I think was right outside, and hopefully some folks have. It begins, the last section, Joseph says to his brothers, "I'm about to die. God will surely take notice of you and will bring you up from this land to the land which God promised on oath to Abraham, Isaac, and to Jacob." And with this, these are Joseph's dying words. And what happens is that we see that the situation for Israel, for the Jewish people in Egypt, is really starting to fall. A few weeks hence, Noah's Torah portion is right when Israel is ready to leave Egypt. Here we see that Israel's experience in Egypt is about to go sour, and that will be next week's portion, and then 2 weeks after that, Noah, you'll take us from there. Certainly, this is the repeat next verse also says, "Go and assemble the elders of Israel and say to them," this is what it says at Exodus 3:16, "The Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, has appeared to me and said, I have taken note of you and what is being done to you in Egypt." So when Joseph says before that happens, surely God will take notice of you, and also Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we see something is going on here. And what we read this evening was the clustering of the three patriarchs for the first time. The first time it says Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That will be something which we'll see a lot of, obviously, in the rest of the Torah, as well as in the prayers which we recite and which we recited this evening. Curiously, there's no problem with food. When Joseph and everybody's first coming to Egypt, big starvation, famine, by this point, thanks to Joseph's administration, that's all under control. Joseph then says, so Joseph made the people of Israel swear, saying, "When God has taken notice of you, you shall carry up my bones from here." And the oath that he extracts is carried out at the time of the Exodus. We read about it in 13:19. And he's laid to rest in a plot of land that Jacob once bought in Shechem. And this is also described later in the Bible. The last sentence which we read this evening from the Torah, Joseph died being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and they placed him in a coffin in Egypt. Rabbi Kushner, in the wonderful Torah commentary, Eitz Chaim, asks, he says, was Joseph successful? Childhood dream achieved. In other words, Joseph dreamed that people would bow down to him, that he would be a great leader. That's happened. He had wealth and power and saved many lives, all signs of great success. At the same time, his success frequently provoked jealousy and resentment. He prospered as an Israelite in a foreign land, but at what cost to his identity? Judaism speaks of him as a tzaddik for his restraint with Potiphar's wife and foregoing revenge against his brothers. But here's what to notice. In sharp contrast with the mourning practices for his father, and which will be for others, no ritual time is recorded for the person who has just been the subject of the majority of the last number of chapters. So when Aaron dies, there is a mourning period. When Jacob dies, there is a mourning period. When Joseph dies, it doesn't say anything else. My sense is that Joseph did his best with the hand that he was played. And perhaps that's all in terms of how we think about his life. Perhaps that's the best way of judging him, if not us as well. The last phrase particularly caught me, that Joseph was placed in a coffin in Egypt. And being placed into a coffin sort of portends slavery. You know, you're going to a coffin, that something bad is occurring. Also, it's worth noticing that liberation will come from that same sort of thing, because Moses is placed into a coffin-like thing. He's placed into an ark, which will save him as well. A coffin is uniquely Egyptian and is never mentioned again in the Bible in terms of burial. This is an Egyptian thing. A coffin, I think, also represents a formative period in the history of ancient Israel that has come to an end. Genesis has gone from the creation of Israel to now awaiting redemption. They need to be liberated from that coffin. Finally, the Women's Bible, it makes note that there's no mention of the women at the end. But the books of Miriam, this is a contemporary poetic book, it states, like so many of our sisters, mothers, daughters, and the countless other women in our lives, we lie buried in the white spaces of the Holy Scroll. And like Joseph's bones, we still await for you to carry us home from Egypt, of reclaiming, as it were, those who came before. In our lives, let us take an oath to do our part to redeem the marginalized and the often forgotten, as we play our own distinct role with a people founded by those matriarchs and patriarchs. Questions on this week's Torah portion? Yes?
It's not so much a question as an observation. Is Joseph perhaps a metaphor for the Jewish people?
In many ways, Bonnie, very good. In many ways, we see there's something about Joseph being a metaphor, especially, I think, for the Jews of the diaspora, for the Jews living outside of Israel. And on the one hand, Joseph is extraordinarily successful. On the other hand, it all seems so very tenuous. And that has been a historic Jewish experience. And if we look at Jews, for instance, right now in France and Britain, where they should be feeling far more secure than they are with rising anti-Semitism, that's not the case. And so I think Joseph is precisely that. There are two sort of metaphors for our Jewish people. One would be Joseph, the other would be Judah, and they both work. Eric?
There was no mourning specifically for Joseph, and he did a lot for the people. I don't know, we haven't on Moses. Was a traditional mourning period?
There will be for Moses, yes.
Joseph was the first real leader helping the people. And then in slavery, then he became Moses and became the freed.
Yeah, and so Joseph's burial, and you know, we could see that what the story is trying to say to us is that Joseph he's in Egypt, and they're in being in Egypt, etc. There's being detached from all those things which will ultimately be fully what will be expressed as Judaism and Israelite religion. Rabbi?
A couple of things, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm teaching this section, instead of saying Joseph was involved, I use the word mummified.
Okay.
Because that's what actually was done. Conventional embalming, as we understand it today, was not done, and he was placed in a sarcophagus. Conventional again for a high dignitary in Egypt. I want to now back up to what you said before, because I think it's too easy to gloss over that, and thank you for mentioning it. But when
Indeed, and the fact that Joseph, the armed guard which accompanies Joseph clearly demonstrates that they're not only protecting him, they're also, as it were, they're also ensuring that he will be brought back, so that when you are in Egypt, you are not free. Even if you are being a leader in Egypt, a high official, you are not free, and that portends poorly, ultimately, for us as well. Dan?
I think there's repeated ambivalence about Joseph. He's not really of the people. He's not even of his family. And I do think that in not so subtle ways he is set at a distance from the lineal descendants. They don't even name a tribe after him. His sons are blessed by Jacob, not by him. And so I think that we should think a little bit about that, maybe historically, that he was really an Egyptian. He was really alien to his brothers and maybe to his people in general, the people who the descendants of the brothers who then populated what became the Jews in Egypt. He wasn't even buried in Hebron. He was buried up in Nablus or wherever that is.
Right.
He didn't quite fit in.
He doesn't quite fit in, and last week's Torah portion, when Judah stands up to Joseph, we see Judah being, here you'd think Joseph is in so many ways so much greater, but Judah is the one who we end up identifying with. I have a sense that's part of the reason why so often when we see Joseph in these really poignant scenes, he's crying. Because there is that sense of distance and alienation.
One
right.
more thing. What do we say is the ideal age to which someone might hope to attain? 120, right?
Right. And Joseph lived to how long?
But the ideal age in Egypt, in ancient Egypt, actually, we know from the was 110. Joseph lived to be 110, the ideal age for an Egyptian.
Right, and the rabbis play with that, as Rabbi Silver very well knows, in terms of why Joseph, why those 10 years were deducted from Joseph's life, as it were. But yeah, Joseph is a person traversing these two worlds, and sort of going back to Bonnie's point at the beginning, at times that really does describe parts of diaspora Jewry and some of the challenges that we have. We're going to turn to page 586, and thank everybody for participating. The young folks who are here, 1, 2, 3, please come forward to open the Ark for the Aleinu. The Aleinu that we chant is the second paragraph down on the page. Sydney, let's get you right over there. Noah? Page 586. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kugayeh haratzot, velo samanu kamishbechot adamam, shelo sam chelkenu kahim, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. This side right here. Please be seated. Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Page 591. Page 598. I ask that those in mourning or remembering the anniversary of the death of a loved one and who have trekked to the sanctuary during Shiva or Shloshim or for Yartzeit, should you be able, please rise when their name is mentioned. During Shloshim, we remember Rosalie Koster. This Shabbat, remember the Yartzeits, the anniversaries of the deaths of Harry Bloom, Helen Einhorn, Bessie Elkins, Carrie Fishman, Morris Fleischer, Bessie Frank, Jack Gerstenfeld, Shirley K. Green, Elizabeth Grossman, Frances Howard, Fanny L. Jennis, Oscar Kipperman, Max Mirror, George Reed, Richard Riley, Harold Rosenberg, Donald Scheibel, and George Shapiro. If there are additional names to mention for Kaddish this Shabbat, please feel free to rise and say their names now. A practice within our congregation is to further consider these people. If you're comfortable so doing, we now invite you to share with this minyan a brief reflection or reference about a dear one on our Kaddish list. We note the military death this week of Private First Class Joshua McKaysey. And each Shabbat we remember 6 amongst the 6 million who perished in the Shoah. We name this week Esther Chakas, Friedel Chakas, Gila Chakas, Boris Portnoy, Reuven Portnoy, and Yaakov Faktorovitz. In remembrance and solidarity, and on behalf of those for whom there is no one but us to say Kaddish, we invite all present to rise if you are able. Page 598. Yit Gadal v'Yit Shemei Rabbah Bialma Divra Chirute Ve'amlich Malchute B'chaye Chod Uvyome Chod U'v'chaye D'chol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala U'vizman Kari V'imru Amen Yehi Shemei Rabbah Mavarach Le'alam Ilalmei Almaya Yit Barach V'yishtabach V'yit Pa'ar V'yit Romam V'yit Naseh V'yit Hadar V'yit Ale V'yit Halal Shmei D'Kudusha B'richu Le'ela Min Kol Berchata V'shirata Tush B'chata V'nechamata Damiran Bialma V'yimru Amen Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru Amen Oseh Shalom B'mromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. Zukranam Levracha, may their memories be for blessing. And let us say Amen. Please be seated. Adon Olam, page 625.
Simon Li Big Sarah Adonalam, Lehuni Si Umanos Li, Manat Kasimi Omega Adonalam, Beato, Afilufi, Beati Shamlia Ira Adonalam, Beim Rufi, Giviati, Adonalim, Lohira Adonalam, Adonalam, Hashem, the temple, it's in Iran, the Sabla Hetzahol, Sadala Shema Hikra Adonalam.
Thank you. Wow. Michelle?
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Linda and Dahlia, for leading a wonderful service. Anybody have any good news this week? Eric? Works for me. Anybody else? Dan?
It's also going to be available on Kindle February 5th.
Okay, add it to our list. Anybody else? How about a birthday? Anniversary? Okay. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock, Torah study. Hope to see you there. Next Friday night at 7:30 are Erev Shabbat services. On January 16th, Sisterhood will be holding its next book group. The discussion will be on The Immortalists by Chloe Benjamin. It will be led by Sherry Kipperman. If you shop at Eddie Laban's, please hold on to your receipts. Bring them into the office, and Laban's will give our congregation a percentage of the receipts collected. Tonight's Oneg is sponsored by our B'nai Israel family. And thank you for joining us. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So Kiddush is on page 123. Dolly, you've certainly earned the large Kiddush cup, so we join together with Dahlia and Linda in Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai,